Awesome. Hey guys, welcome to Industry Exchange. I am your host, Meghan Jones. I want to welcome you guys to our 7th edition of Industry Exchange. Today we're going to be focusing on hair and makeup artistry, and of course speaking to a very knowledgeable industry professional. I have with me today Jamie Haynes, and she is with us here at Raw HQ in Los Angeles. And of course, she is the owner of Rouge Artists, which is a commercial creative agency. So she represents a top list of beauty artists who've done work on things like Vogue magazine, FX's American Horror Story, and beyond. So you can find out more. Of course, we've been posting about her on the website, rougeartists.com, and that's ROUGE. Of course, hit her up on Instagram. Of course, Rouge Artists, ROUGE Artists. Is where you can find her there. So thank you so much, Jamie, for joining us today. Appreciate it. I'm really stoked to give some advice to our beauty mavens out there who are, wondering what next steps they need to take in the industry. So if you wouldn't mind, I guess, telling us a little bit about you and your agency. How did you start in the entertainment industry?
So I'm Jamie Haynes, and I am from Brooklyn, New York. I came to Los Angeles after college, after Boston University, and I worked my way up in the film business, but on the production side. So I started as a PA, and then I worked up to producer, executive producer, and now I have my agency, which I started 15 years ago. I actually produced Cindy Crawford's first infomercial.
Oh, snap.
And on that infomercial, I met my first stylist, and I won't go into the entire story, but she was literally like, you should be my agent. And I was like, I should be your agent. So from that, it's 15 years later, and I have about over 20 people that I rep between LA, New York, Miami, all over, and I have some great talent.
So in production, you're doing this. So what made you say, yes, you know what, you're right, I should be your agent? What was that, kind of that twist that made you think, I need to dive, head first?
Because she didn't really know, because I was on the other side. Mm-hmm. So I was the producer of the infomercial. So I, knew her deal, and her deal had been made before her and I met. Mm-hmm. But she didn't know what she was entitled to because she didn't have an agent. So she didn't know, she could get overtime. She could get kit rental.
Important.
There was all these things that she didn't know. And meanwhile, she was working with some top celebrities.
Oh, wow.
But she never wanted to have an agent. A lot of people don't like their agents. It's a whole thing. So I decided, okay, I'm going to open up a boutique agency, and I'm going to handpick my talent, and I'm going to make sure that, I have some great people, and we're communicating, and they're going to, do great.
And is that when you decided to open up Rouge? Is that when you headed out here west? Or
no, I was already out.
You were already out here.
I was in the film industry, and at the time in my career, it was just the right time.
Yeah.
It was the right time to make a change, And when I met her, I was like, okay, she definitely needs reprepresentation, and she needs somebody to watch her back. Yeah. So I set out to be a boutique agency and have great talent, and again, just work with my talent, and I didn't want to be like a booker, because there's other agencies, great agencies out there, but I wanted to really give my talent one-on-one, give them my attention.
More hands-on.
Yeah. My artists get me at all hours. We talk about everything. Some of my artists I talk to daily.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you launch, Rouge Artists. How do you decide on what talent to represent?
Okay, that's a great question, and that's a hard question, because I was just telling Megan that daily I get people emailing on Instagram, wanting to come to the agency, and there's some amazing talent out there, I will say that. But usually I do it through my other artists, because they are out there working, so they'll call me or text me and be like, hey, let's say it's a fashion stylist, and they'll say, hey, I'm working with this great makeup artist. Let's say one of my fashion stylists is working with a great makeup artist. They'll say, oh, there's a great makeup artist on the set. You should meet them. So I'll even sometimes go down and meet that person, you know, or I tell them, oh, have them get in touch with me after, you know. But I do also, you know, when people email or send us anything on Instagram, I do look through people. I give a lot of attention to people. I think that's, you know, certainly like my niche in the industry. And I also know what it's like to knock on doors. You know, I was in production for years and I had to, you know, call and get work and work for my entire career was freelance. So I totally get it.
So you're very familiar with that.
I understand it. I get it. I understand when you're trying to get a job, when you're trying to get in the door somewhere. So, you know, I'm forgiving to those people and I know that's hard. Yeah. It's hard to do and it's hard to be confident, especially if you're just starting. Yeah. You know?
And I think that's, you know, especially in this, you know, day and age. I mean, like, you know, visual artists used to like go knock down on every gallery's door with their portfolio. In this like very digital age, you know, it is sliding into the DMs, you know, trying to connect with anybody possible.
And that's how, space. I mean, I definitely get a lot of people on Instagram DMing me or us and, you know, saying, I want to be with your agency.
So what's the process for interviewing and signing on with an agency? What does that look like?
Okay. So I'm sure other agencies are different. My process is, so if I decide I like somebody, I usually set up a meeting. I always like to meet somebody face to face because I think that's really important. We have to make sure we have chemistry. We have to just make sure that we jive because we don't want, you know, we're going to be working together, you know, but so we'll meet and then we talk. I give them my spiel. They tell me about them. Prior to that meeting, I will look at all of their work. I will see what they need help with, what they should add, what they should take away on their websites. They eventually, all of their work gets to Rouge Artists' website. Okay. So some of them will continue to keep their own website. That's fine. It's up to them. But we bring their work to our website so that we can sell them properly and manage them properly. You have to be in communication with your agent. And it doesn't mean even though I say there are some artists I talk to more often, but it doesn't mean call them every 5 minutes. Because if you have a good agent, the agent is working for you all the time. I mean, I'm always working. Yeah, you know,
it's true, you guys. When she got here, she was. I'm sorry, I have to return emails. I'm on this right now. Do your thing. You work it.
So I mean, this morning, I had 3 jobs on my way here that I was finagling. So you know, but I think communication is really important. You know, ask questions if you've never been repped before. A lot of my artists have been repped. Some haven't, but most of them have. So they understand the working relationship with their agent, with me. But they're also, some of them are, you know, they're happy because they're getting a small, you know, maybe they came from a larger agency, so they're getting a little more personal attention. Yeah.
So this is like a personal question for me. So when you like meet a makeup artist or you see their art, are you looking at it from the perspective of like, oh, like I really enjoy this, or is it like broader than that? Like, I know that like this specific thing that they do, this highlight or whatever. It's obviously I don't know anything about makeup.
I think you do. You look great. So it is absolutely everything. Okay. I am looking at, you know, their work. I am looking at how they can be sold to a client. I'm looking at, I mean, there's so many different factors. I'm looking at when I meet them too. Like, how do they present themselves? Are they on time?
This is their business card, huh?
Yeah, this is and it doesn't mean, you know, I like people with character, probably because I'm from New York. So I like that. Yeah. I don't like cookie cutter people. I mean, I don't think people in the creative industry are cookie cutter. Right. But I like to have people that have something going on, you know, and are talented. Yeah. But I want them, they need to be on time. They need to return phone calls. They need to be reliable and, you know, and just really good at their craft.
So at what stage, I guess, in their career should an artist reach out about representation? Is it necessary for them to do so as well? Like,
okay, so I think you kind of, this sounds weird, but I think you kind of know, because you get to a place where you're negotiating. And I am a huge believer in, I think creative people should not be the business portion. They should be creative and they should have somebody doing the business. I am not a creative person. So I go to people to do creative things. Okay. So when I'm going somewhere, I get my hair and makeup done. I have a fashion stylist that'll help me dress for an occasion. Anyway, so I think that they, I'm their business part.
Yeah.
So,
can we go into more of, because I said isn't a necessity. So what?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So a necessity. Yes. I do think, so once you kind of figure out like, yes, I want to get an agent. I do think, I think an agent is important, because that person's going to negotiate for you and that person is going to handle all of your business. And you shouldn't be talking to your clients about money. You should not be talking about your clients about days. You shouldn't be any of that, or overtime or kit rental. You should be talking to your client about creative stuff. How do they want the hair look? How to look? How do they want the makeup to look? How many talent are there? You want to be, you want to be the creative part.
Yeah, you don't want to have to worry about all all the other stuff. So, what are the benefits of having an agent?
The benefits are that you have somebody handling your work. Okay, so I think it's always good to be, I'm going to say, handled. Your schedule, especially if you get busy or want to get busy, you are not, you're not dealing with some of your, I'll just say, day-to-day stuff. You have, especially if you're shooting. Yeah. If you're on set or you're on a remote location and you can't even get to your phone.
Right, exactly.
You could be missing a job. So, I'm somewhere else while my artist is somewhere. I know their schedule. I can answer a client and say, yeah, she's available. She's shooting today, so let me talk to her, whatever. Like, I can answer for them.
Yeah, you can at least say like, hey, wait.
Yeah, no.
She's busy,
and now you have to answer clients quickly because there's so many people out there and they'll just go on to the next. Yeah. You need to have an online portfolio, a website. It needs to be really clear. You need to be able to navigate easily, and you want your best work. Quality over quantity. You don't want to just put a picture up to put a picture up. You want it up because it looks great. So that's how they would, and they could send their website to an agent, and the agent would look at their website. Today I was actually like, really? I got a makeup artist was like, hi, I want to come to your agency, and they didn't put their link. So I'm like, well, what kind of work do you do? So I just went on to the next email.
Yeah, if you have to almost like, okay, go down this, rabbit hole looking for something. That's definitely.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you guys that you have probably 30 seconds of people's time. Yeah. So you want to make the absolute best impression. So your first picture on your website needs to look great. The first few pictures, there can't be any weird hiccups. There cannot be a weird navigation. When I get those, I am on to the next. So your client's going to be on to the next. Yeah. And you want people to hire you. You do not want to give anybody an excuse not to hire you. So.
And if it's something as simple as like, you can have free websites nowadays, guys, like Wix, you can go to Wix, that's a free website.
Yeah, if I'm going to recommend this website, I think Squarespace is a really great place to show your work. Yeah. That's a great platform.
Is there any, I'm sorry, we're getting another question here. Business manager, booking agent. Are those two different things? Is that one and the same?
Technically it is two different things. Okay. I love to manage. So for my artists, they get both. Okay. And I'll say I'm almost more of a manager than an agent because, I do like to guide my artists into their next level or where they're going to go. And it's a process and it takes time. I've got artists that have been with me almost the length of the time that I've been open, which I love. Yeah. So I've seen them go from, one end to another or, and we've worked our way through. Yeah. So it's really great. Yeah.
So the website is really important. Is there anything that you wish prospective artists would do more of or less of?
Okay, so more of is just absolutely, when you send out your work, make sure it's great.
Okay.
Make sure when you send, make sure don't send the long emails about yourself. Just send something quick, precise, and maybe have a picture on that email with the website so that you can go, or you draw somebody in and go, wow, that looks great. Less of would be do not, which I also get, do not send a website if you're not ready. If your website is not ready, then you absolutely need to don't send it yet, because that tells me something about that person.
Yeah.
So like I get people that say, hi, I'm, Susan Smith, and I'm a makeup artist, and here's my website. Oh, my website is not ready yet, and it's still being built and so forth. Not good. Yeah. I'm like, well, but here's a couple of. I'm like, well, then you're not ready.
Right.
You're clearly not ready.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to send you out. And I'm not going to send to a client, oh, here's a makeup artist who would be great, but her work is under construction.
Right.
We never do that.
Yeah.
In fact, we send when we've updated, oh, look what we've just done. You have to see what the artists are doing.
Yeah. Do you recommend artists use LinkedIn?
I think you can use LinkedIn. Yeah, I believe any place to put yourself out there is not a bad place. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I think the more you're out there, the better. Maybe somebody goes on LinkedIn and they see your name. It's it's like having people see you.
Yeah.
And you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
So,
no, that's
yeah.
so true, right?
Yeah.
So you said, I mentioned the attachment. You said that's something that could potentially catch your eye. Is there anything else that might catch your eye that you're like, something that somebody's done where you're like, oh, maybe you wouldn't have noticed?
I think just when people are really available and ready, there's a couple of people I work with that are they're not on my roster, but maybe, people are busy. I don't have somebody that's available. So I go off my roster, and those couple of people are get back to me immediately. They're just very quick, and they're yes people. And you need to be a yes person in general. If you go on a shoot and you are a makeup artist, you should have your entire kit in the car with you or
Always.
with you. Because if there's a client, and even though, let's say you're doing a beauty photo shoot, but suddenly they're like, you know what, this would be kind of cool if she had a black eye or something out of the ordinary. And you were like, well, I didn't bring that. That's really bad.
Ooh,
you want to
yeah.
always say yes to your clients. You want to always be prepared. So those are the artists that I like to work with in general, and even on my roster, all of them will do. Will basically not do anything, but they're just
being prepared.
They're prepared, absolutely.
Yeah. That segues into my next, question about how aspiring hairstylists and makeup artists can, turn their passions into successful careers. What is the best way, do you think, to improve your craft if you're looking to...
This is huge. You also should just keep working. Work breeds work. But if you're not working, you should be working. Meaning you should be testing. You should find a photographer, find whatever you do. If you're a hairstylist, find a makeup artist, find a fashion stylist, get a model and put together a shoot. You should not be sitting on your butt waiting for an email, waiting for somebody to reach out to you. Because they may not. You need to make things happen for yourself. This industry, you need to hustle. You need to be tenacious. Super important. If you want to move up.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. So you've been mentioning the beauty toolkit, of course, to always be embellishing, always being ready for the next thing, or the what if case scenario. But what business or soft skills do you think artists need?
I think everybody needs to be on social media. Huge. So you should have your website, but you also need to be very present on Instagram. I am getting clients asking what the Instagram handle is on top of their website.
Okay.
And make sure that Instagram is true to the artist that you are. So we don't want to see your bachelorette party in Vegas, but we might want to see some cool image that you see in Vegas, or some cool makeup that you did while you were in, something like that, but maybe not on yourself necessarily. I would be very, I'd make sure, be very particular about what you put on your Instagram.
Yeah.
Because people are looking at that, especially clients.
Yeah.
But I think that to me is a very big skill, I'd say.
If I could perhaps tack on to that with my own words of advice, I noticed the same exact thing. Have a nice curated feed. To Jamie's point, we don't want to have your own personal Instagram account if that's what you want, and keep the makeup, keep the hair all in one place. Also, this is a pet peeve of mine, maybe advice. Don't use the Snapchat filters and things like that on anything in your feed. It's not, it's cute maybe, on the Snapchat, but, we want to see the real makeup. And that's looking for artists here even.
I completely agree with you. Yeah. And sometimes, sometimes you are doing things on set also that might be really cool, but you wouldn't put that on your website because it's not like, I'll say like a professional photo, but it may be like a cool behind the scenes,
yes.
Or maybe you're doing a little how-to,
yeah,
so that you're not going to put on your website, because your website is really the work that you've done.
Yeah. Like the end really final result.
Yeah.
So, how important is it, I guess, in fashion to shadow or intern or learn from? That's a question we're getting from the audience here. Also, how to ask someone important in fashion to shadow, intern, learn from them, etc.
I love that. So what I would do is find people that you think are great on Instagram or Facebook or wherever, or maybe even in a magazine. You're like, oh, who did the styling on that? Reach out to that person and say to them, I'd love to be I'd love to intern for you, and see. And I think that more artists, makeup, hair, fashion, are more empathetic to people that want to intern and want to learn, because we all want to teach.
Yeah.
I love that.
We've all been there, right?
Yeah.
It's like
absolutely.
everybody started from somewhere.
Absolutely.
So yeah, you kind of like have that with them. So, I feel like we could go on talking for a very long time. But any final words of advice for all the beauty artists out there just trying to make it?
Final words of advice are just, again, work. Just work. Be tenacious. Don't sit on your butt. Don't wait for people. Make things happen yourself. I think that's really important. And I think in our industry, there's so many people. So try to stick out from the pack if you can. Maybe if that's, figuring out the road you want to take or not. I actually like a really varied artist. But that's okay. You can also be somebody that just does effects, or just does, a certain part of the Industry. But yeah, just try to work and try to do whatever you can. Keep shooting. Keep shooting. Super important.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about that earlier. It's like, if you can diversify anyway, or if you can find a niche, just like really hone in on it and kind of hone it and own it, as I say. Yeah, I need to create that hashtag. I need to get on that before somebody else does. But first off, I want to thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I love this woman so much.
I love Meghan too.
She's adorable and just like
thank you.
Such a breeze to talk to. So if you guys are interested in finding out more about Rouge Artists, please hit up their website. Like she said, she's really savvy on the gram, and that's ROUGE Artists. You can find them on Instagram. Thanking Jamie so much for contributing her wealth, all the knowledge to benefit you guys, the hair and makeup artists out there who are trying to make it. We hope you found today's industry exchange useful. I know I did. I'm learning more and more every time I get to speak to these industry professionals. So thank you guys. Again, tune in October 30th. We are going to be covering fashion and accessories. We have a really special guest for you guys coming up. So follow us on Instagram. That's at RAWartists. Of course, you can head up RAWartists.org for more updates, and just keep it on that hashtag industry exchange is where you can find us. And we'll see you guys next month. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.